Eric Johnson, who lives in Hernando, Mississippi. He's an air traffic controller and a father of 4 who is joining us via video tonight. This is his question.
What do you suggest government workers do for food money when the paychecks stop coming?
I mean, these are the real questions that we have to be entertaining. And as I mentioned earlier, the best and most important solution to this is making sure that we reopen the government, not accept the inevitability of this, and come to a resolution as quickly as possible. Now, that being said, we do have to make sure that we come together as communities and that we also systemically expand our programming, like the SNAP cuts that just happened, in addition to the $1 trillion in healthcare cuts as well for families that are under financial duress.
You mentioned what Speaker Johnson has said about how long this could go on. We've heard from Senator Schumer as well, who said the other day that as long as this shutdown continues, he said, quote, every day gets better for us. Do you think every day, though, gets better for someone like Eric?
No, I mean, it's, at the end of the day, this needs to be as short as possible. We do not want the government to be shut down. We don't.
So she gets presented with a real-life human problem occurring due to the Democrats' petty government shutdown. And her response is, yeah, we ought to be considering that, and then goes on to give a word salad answer with no semblance of a solution. The only thing that can even be considered a response in that unintelligible word vomit was her saying, go get on food stamps and championing more people becoming government welfare dependents. That is what the Democrat Party wants, to strip every single American of the dignity and independence of being self-sufficient and create an entire population that must grovel on their hands and knees to the federal government every single month to get their house money, to get their food money, to get their medicine. Because then nobody can challenge them or be a dissident because the government controls the ability to stop you from feeding yourself. But watch this next clip as this sweet lady tells Bernie Sanders that her life is being ruined by the government shutdown. And his response is, I don't care at all. We just want to win our petty beef against Donald Trump.
She's a bartender from Horn Lake, Mississippi. She is a Democrat. She submitted her question via video.
A Democrat from Mississippi.
Indeed.
All right. There we go.
My American dream has turned into a nightmare. My family was only days away from closing on a USDA loan for our dream home. Then came news of the shutdown, and now we face uncertainty. Our lease is up, and now we have to move. The shutdown is costing us our chance to live our dream. What are you doing to end this stalemate and help restore faith in our elected officials, the people I helped to choose to guard my American dream?
We're going to do everything that we can to bring an end to this terrible shutdown, which is hurting you and which is hurting 1 million federal employees and millions of people who use federal services. But also, we have got to be cognizant that if Trump wins this fight, our healthcare system could well collapse and tens of thousands of people could die every single year.
Do you think Trump could win this fight?
No, we're going to win it. But it's not, I don't want to look at it like a political fight. We're going to win it because the American people are on our side.
You see how he tried to do damage control at the end because he completely exposed that this shutdown that is hurting people like that lady is completely due to Democrat pettiness. Nope, we're gonna win the fight against Donald Trump. This lady is telling you that the government shutdown is causing the agency that she was receiving a home loan for to not be working, which means she'll have to forfeit the house to another buyer. She is not worried about your ideological need to not get embarrassed by Donald Trump for the 30th time. And she was a Democrat voter. This is what the left has been doing for years, but still they're completely perplexed how Donald Trump won the popular vote. They keep hyper-fixating on the unsatisfiable, angry, radical left and ignoring regular people with families and jobs and mortgages who aren't interested in a communist revolution.
Over in the House, there are 14 House Republicans who have said that they will sign on and they will vote for a one-year extension of the subsidies. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries said he thought that proposal was laughable. Do you think that's laughable, or is that something you could get behind?
Yeah, no, let me tell you why it's laughable, because it's cynical. Republicans want to sign on to just a one little extra year of these ACA subsidies. You want to know why? What's happening next year? Midterm elections. They want to extend these subsidies just a year extra so that people don't realize the dupe that they are pulling on everyone, so that they can all reelect themselves and allow those things to expire the moment that they win reelection. And it is time to get politics out of what should be a guaranteed universal right in the United States of America, and that is health care. And so I will not accept a measly 1 year acceptance of a measly 1 year extension of the ACA. We need to make sure, and as a member of the party, we put negotiations in the hands of our party's leadership with Hakeem Jeffries. He says it's no.
Like AOC said, they want permanent extensions. They want universal health care for all. They are literally holding the government hostage until they get their radical progressive agenda agreed to. Democrats think that preventing a peaceful transfer of power looks like a military coup. No, it looks exactly like this. The Republicans won the election. The Republican Congress created a bill that the Republican president signed into law. And the Democrats are saying, nope, we don't care. We want our agenda to be implemented or else the government doesn't work. And instead of realizing that that fact is glaringly obvious to any person with 2 eyes and 2 brain cells to rub together, they keep insulting everyone's intelligence by blaming it on the Republicans. And here is Bernie Sanders doing exactly that to somebody in the town hall audience and getting completely humiliated.
How do you think this shutdown reflects on Chuck Schumer's leadership?
Well, I think it reflects more on Mike Johnson's leadership and President Trump's leadership. This is a leadership which said it's okay to give well, how do you feel? You tell me. Think it's a good idea to give $1 trillion in tax breaks to the richest people in the country and then make massive cuts to healthcare for working class people?
I think Chuck Schumer has voted for continuing resolutions 13 times in the last 4 years, and he has the opportunity to vote for one again, but he's refusing to come to the table.
Well, I think, look, as I have said, there are 53 Republicans in the Senate, correct?
Yes.
They need 60. What does that mean? It means you have to talk to the other side. Mike Johnson is not talking. John Thune is not talking. President Trump is not talking. That is the problem.
Well, they say their position is reopen the government and then we'll talk.
A constant theme throughout this entire town hall, and it was like an hour and 20 minutes, I watched all of it, was person after person after person asking AOC and Bernie Sanders what they could do to help them. And every single response was 15% word salad, 85% Trump and the Republicans are bad. And every person had this disgusted look on their face, the same as this guy. Like, these people are just robots. They're awful. They don't have any plan. Everything is just Trump is bad. Everything Trump does is wrong. So our stance, our platform is we're going to oppose everything. It's like the 2 only ways Democrats talk to people are treating them like infants. There are 53 Republicans in the Senate and they need 60, right? Or they just simply insult people, call them a bigot, call them a racist, call them transphobic, and maybe you'll just beat them into submission if you attack them enough. And instead of doing some self-reflection and acknowledging this, AOC says the reason Democrats are struggling with young male voters isn't because of how Bernie just talked to that young man. It's because the right are a bunch of Nazis and men are a bunch of violent misogynists.
When they talk about Republicans and their success online, they have been successful because they have also been very clear, especially digitally, about what they believe. That women are inferior, that they do not deserve equal rights, that they believe that LGBTQ Americans are subhuman, that they believe and are circulating disgusting racial and white supremacist messaging that they are able to get away with digitally and online. And they are able to radicalize and target and exploit a generation of young boys, in particular, away from healthy masculinity and into an insecure masculinity that requires the domination of others who are poorer, browner, darker, or a different gender than them. And that is why they are resonating online, because they are appealing to the most basest and worst parts of human nature to divide us.
And that is why no self-respecting young man wants to be a part of the Democrat Party. Somehow, in the mind of woke progressives like AOC, the ideal version of a man is something that resembles a lady, but the ideal version of a woman is strong, is assertive, she's a leader. And when men don't want to accept that ideology, she calls them a sexist. Now, the final thing I'm going to show you is when both AOC and Bernie freak out, when the host asks AOC if she's going to primary Chuck Schumer. Watch.
But are you saying that Senator Schumer should not be worried about a primary challenge from you?
I mean,
All right.
no.
Let me jump
I don't
in on
think
this one.
Is about
this is,
anything
see,
this is what we're
Caitlin,
talking about.
That's exactly what we're talking
This is what we're
You have a
talking
country
about.
that is falling apart. We have a housing crisis, a healthcare crisis, an education crisis, massive income and wealth inequality, a corrupt campaign finance system, and the media says, "Oh, you're going to run. What are you going to run for?" Nobody cares. She'll run more towards
Nobody cares.
It's the House Speaker and President Trump and the Vice President saying it.
All right.
Pardon?
Well, of course, they're saying it to deflect attention away from the real issues.
Exactly.
And here, let me tell you what the real issue is. Let's see if CNN talks about it. We're living in the richest country in the history of the world, right? All right, you tell me why we're the only nation not to guarantee health care to all people, the only nation not to guarantee paid family and medical leave, why we have a $7.25 an hour minimum wage, why we have 800,000 people sleeping out on the street, why we have a president who denies the reality of climate change, why we have oligarchs on top who have more and more power every day. Let's talk about that issue, not her own political future. She'll decide that.
Yeah, don't focus on the sleazy game of politics we're playing at the expense of millions of American people. Focus on our talking points. Trump's bad. People are going to lose their health care.
So I think in many ways, President Trump and Mr. Kennedy have asked some of the right questions. Problem is their answers will only make a bad situation worse. So let me ask Mr. Kennedy again. If we want to make America healthy, will you assure the American people that you will fight to do what every other major country on earth does, guarantee health care to every single American?
I'm going to make America healthier than other countries in the world right now.
Will you guarantee do what every other major country does? That's a simple question.
And by the way, Bernie, the problem of corruption is not just in the federal agencies, it's in Congress too. Almost all the members of this panel are accepting, including yourself, are accepting millions of dollars from the pharmaceutical industry.
Oh, no,
and protecting their interests.
Oh, I thought that would come. No. I ran for president like you. I got millions and millions of contributions. They did not come from the executives, not one nickel of PAC money from the pharmaceutical industry. They came from workers.
In 2020, you were the single largest
because I had
receiver of pharmaceutical money.
Contributions from workers all over this country. Workers,
you were the
not a nickel from corporate
Bernie,
PACs.
you were the single largest acceptor of pharmaceutical dollars.
No, from workers in the
1.5 million.
Yeah, out of 200 million. All right.
If you enjoy this content, please consider subscribing to my channel to stay up to date with future videos. Thank you for watching.